Once upon a time, in a small town of Akim, Ghana, lived a young couple, Kofi and Amma. They were so in love with each other and wanted to spend the rest of their lives together. However, there had been a long-standing family tradition that states that the elder one must be married before the younger one. And Amma happened to be the last daughter of Anan's two daughters. Amma had an elder sister called Afua, and she definitely could not get married to Kofi before Afua, no matter how in love they were. This wouldn't have been an issue if Afua wanted to get married. Knowing this tradition after all, Afua had been rejecting all her suitors because she was filled with hate and jealousy for her own sister. So she vowed never to let her marry Kofi. So many years ago, when Afua was a little girl, she was the pride of her parents. She was their only child at the time, so they loved and pampered her greatly. Few years later, her sister Amma was born, and all the attention was shifted to the newly born Amma, which made Afua angry and jealous. She hated her sister for taking away the love of her parents from her, so she thought. Years later, Amma grew into a very, very beautiful young girl and was loved by virtually everyone in the community. She was a ray of sunshine, as the people would always say. All this made Afua even more jealous, and she hated her sister even more. In her head, even her parents loved Amma more than they loved her, because they always gave her everything she wanted. Amma grew into a smart and intelligent lady, the perfect description of beauty with brains. And that further increased Afua's hate for her sister. She took everything from me. She has always taken everything from me, even when we were little, and I hate her for that, Afua said in anger to her friend Nadia. Stop that. What do you mean? Why so much hate words for your sister? Nadia said. Even when we were little, I can remember I had a rag doll that I loved so much. She wanted it and my mom took it from me and gave it to her. Share with your sister, Afua. You should learn to share, Afua said, making a face while mimicking their mother. She took my parents' love from me. Afua was filled with so much bitterness. I will never let her marry Kofi because I met him first. And just like always, she took him from me too. And I would rather die than see them get married, Afua said angrily. Wow, Afua, that is so intense, Nadia said. One would think Amma is not your sister listening to you talk like this. Calm down. A few months ago, Afua met Kofi at a wedding and they became friends. Kofi was a great guy, so naturally, Afua was drawn to him. They became quite close. Until one day, Kofi met Amma in a fabric shop and she helped him pick a fabric for his mom. So he offered to bring her home. On their way, Kofi realized that Amma had a wonderful charisma and personality, and they talked and talked until they got to her house. On getting home, Afua rushed out when she saw Kofi from the window. Kofi, what are you doing here? She asked in surprise. How did you find my house? Wow, Afua, you live here? Kofi asked in surprise. Wait, you two know each other? Amma asked. Yes, of course. Kofi is my friend, Afua said with a frown on her face. Oh, interesting. You didn't tell me you've met my sister, Kofi, Amma said. That's because I didn't even know she had a sister. Afua never mentioned it and I just met you too, Kofi said with a smile to both of them. Yeah, that's true, Amma said. Anyway, Afua is my elder sister. The world is really small indeed. All right, thank you so much for bringing me home. I really appreciate it, Amma said and walked inside. Afua stood arms crossed with a frown on her face, watching the both of them. So, Afua, why didn't you mention that you had a really charming sister? Kofi said jokingly. Why should I tell you that? It's not important. Are you coming in or what? No, Afua, I was on my way out. I'll come back some other time, okay? Kofi said and gave her a hug before he left. From that day, Kofi and Amma became inseparable. He always came to look for her, which made Afua even more jealous. Kofi, you've really changed. I thought we were friends. You were my friend first before you met her. Now you don't even care about me again, Afua said to Kofi. No, Afua, that's not true. I really care about you and you know it. I just really like your sister. How can you like her when I met you first? Why can't you like me like that? Just like everything else, she's taking you away from me, Afua said. No, Afua, don't think like that. I'm still your friend, okay? Oh, all right, let's hang out tomorrow, Kofi said, pacifying her. As time went on, Kofi and Ama's friendship grew stronger and stronger. They were literally inseparable. This made Afua really angry and bitter at her sister. Just like always, all you do is take things from me. You thief. You want to take Kofi from me, and I will never let that happen. I met him first, and you cannot take him from me, Afua screamed at Ama. What are you even on about? Is Kofi an item? I didn't take anything from you. He's an adult and can decide who he wants to be with, Ama said. But I met him before you. Why couldn't you just avoid him? But no, of course, you can't. You rather take him just like you have been taking everything from me. But I won't let you this time, I swear, Afua shouted and walked away. Ama stood there in shock and wondering why Afua was so angry. Fast forward to present day. Kofi and Ama's friendship blossomed into love and they decided to get married. But Afua swore never to let that happen. She would rather remain single than get married and let Kofi and Ama be together. Afua had intentionally been rejecting her suitors because she didn't want to let Ama and Kofi get married. Little did Afua know that her actions were not only hurting Ama, but also stalling her own life. Kofi and Ama tried to reason with Afua, but she claimed not to be interested in marriage, claiming she wanted to pursue her passion of owning a bakery instead. Meanwhile, their family were unaware of the underlying tension between the sisters. But Nana, what kind of tradition says I have to wait for my sister to get married first before I do? Ama cried to their mother. Afua obviously doesn't want to get married. So does that mean that if she decides not to marry for the next 10 years, I will not get married too? Afua said in tears. My daughter, it's not in my hands. I'm but a woman. I didn't make these traditions, and they've been there even before I was born, Nana said. This is the 5th suitor you are rejecting in 2 weeks, Afua, screamed their father, Anan. What is wrong with you? Don't you want to get married at all? Or is there something you're not telling us? Afua stood arms akimbo, looking at them with disinterest. Yes, I don't want to get married. How is that a problem? Afua said. But if you don't, how would your sister get married? Said Nana. Well, I don't care. After all, she's your precious jewel. She can as well be with you forever, Afua said and walked away. Her parents stood watching her in shock. Few weeks later, after Afua had rejected yet another suitor, Ama stormed in anger. All my life, I have loved you and looked up to you as my sister. But you hate me. Yes, you hate me. So much. You don't treat me like other people I know treat their sisters. You get angry at me for any and everything. What did I ever do to you? Ama cried. Afua laughed in scorn. You want to know, right? I'll tell you. I'll tell you, little Miss Goody Shoes. I hate you. I hate your guts. I hate your face. And I hate that you're my sister. You took everything from me. From my parents' love, right from the first day you were born. To my favorite toys. Yes, everyone doted on you and totally ignored me. Even you, my so-called parents, she said, looking at her parents angrily. Ama was the beautiful and fair one. So you loved her and abandoned me. Everything she wanted, you gave her. Ama just needed to cry or show small discomfort and you gave her just anything she wanted. Because she's your trophy child who made so much money for you even as a baby. But you forgot you had another child because I wasn't as beautiful and fair and charming as your trophy child and I didn't make money for you. Ama is the smart one. Oh, Afua, you tried. But can't you do better? Just like your little sister. She got all A's. How do you think that made me feel when you compare me with her all the time? Everybody loves Amma, including my best friend. I met Kofi first, and I was happy. Finally, because I had something you didn't. But as always, you took him from me, and you want to be happy? I'll never let that happen, she said and walked out. Everyone stood in total shock of the revelation. Her parents never knew that was how Afua felt towards them and her sister all these years. They must have really made a big mistake. They loved their daughters equally. Maybe they got carried away at some point, but they loved Afua too, just the same. How do they make her see that? As time went on, Afua still filled with so much resentment against her sister and parents and didn't give them the time of day. Her parents tried to reach out, but she deliberately made herself scarce to all of them. They were so worried about her. One day, Afua got involved in a fatal accident where she suffered severe injuries and was rushed to the hospital where she falls into a coma. Her family were by her side as soon as they heard. As Afua hovers between life and death, she has a vivid out-of-body experience, watching her parents and sister crying and praying by her bedside. She sees the genuine love and concern in their faces, and she realizes that her anger and resentment were misplaced. For days, while she was in coma, Amma never left her side. She was there all through, speaking to her. After 5 days, Afua finally awakens from coma, and her parents and sister were all overjoyed. Afua feels a surge of gratitude and love for the family that she had. Her parents were willing to give their own life just as long as she would be okay. She begins to see her sister Amma in a new light, recognizing the beauty and kindness that was always there. It took a near-death experience to make her realize how much she was loved by her family. Her anger and resentment towards her sister all these years were wrong. Immediately she was discharged, she began to make amends and worked on rebuilding their relationship, cherishing the second chance at life and love. Few months after her recovery from the accident, Afua met Asante, and it was love at first sight. They got married few months later, which made it possible for Kofi and Amma to finally get married. This story highlights the destructive power of jealousy and anger. Holding on to anger and resentment not only affects the person that you are angry at, but it even affects you more, because you can never move forward when you hold on to hate and anger. In trying to stall her sister from getting married, Afua was indirectly stalling herself too. It also shows the transformative power of forgiveness, love, and sisterly reconciliation. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this story. Please like, share, and share your thoughts in the comment section. Please subscribe to us if you haven't. Please. Thank you again, and see you in my next one. Bye.